Hello, Kat.
Hi, how are you
How are
doing?
you? Good.
Good, good, good. Yeah, good. Excited. Trying
Exciting.
not to get excited.
I know. So Bitcoin. The last time we did our video, Bitcoin was around this area, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I said I saw a lovely bull flag.
Yeah. Um. So I think we were saying last time that this area, which was this um redistribution, we call it, area after the second peak,
Yeah.
was going to. I had my eye on this as like the next possible price target.
Mm.
So do you remember trading this?
Yeah.
It was January to April 2022. And I think a lot of people were in disbelief that Bitcoin hadn't made it to 100K, got to what was it, 69
Mm.
thing. And then it had this massive markdown, like relentless and ruthless. And then it started to recover here, it was making like higher lows. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people, including me, were very hopeful it was going to go up again. Um,
Yeah.
it even here it broke through this 44K level and actually made a quite significant up thrust here, and then it broke up right the way through. And
Mm.
even then I still think people were still quite hopeful. At this stage I actually sold everything. I remember I sold everything here, and then we had Luna. So I just think, but just the reason I'm bringing that up is I do think that this level is quite a key level. A lot of people bought Bitcoin here.
I did. I
Yeah.
lost money here. I sold way after you. I sold,
Mm.
going down to like the 30K mark. I
Okay.
lost. Yeah.
So and this is if I this I just drew this little, this is the trend line going under these lows here. I think this is quite a key psychological level. It's 40K, and it was the area this breakdown happened. This is
Mm.
Luna, wasn't it? I think this is Luna. So I got my eye on that. I mean, Bitcoin is at what, nearly 37 now. It's not that far away. It's only 10%. So I think that's a key level for me. So that's what I'm looking at the minute. I Most of my entry for Bitcoin is here. It is my macro entry. I did take some profits along here that I redeployed here,
Yeah.
um,
Same. Exactly
and
same.
here as well. I entered again, and I will continue to do that for a while. Continue to buy dips basically. When Bitcoin came up here and started going sideways, I was wondering, was it going to come down and retest to 21? But I could see it was being successfully supported by the 9 EMA, and then it took off. And on my indicator, the tiger, it went from the dark green to the light green and started losing momentum. But yeah, price was going up, which is a imperative on this. But I was feeling Bitcoin was going to have another pump up. I could see the price turning around here. It went yellow, which is a warning sign to sell. But then I thought it's quite far away from the trend line, and I could see it turning around. And also, if I go back to these areas of price before earlier on this year, you can see that Bitcoin has a rally and then comes back to meet the 9, has a bit of a pullback, and then rallies again. So that's what I was keeping an eye on here, but it didn't even go down to 21,
No.
which is quite bullish.
Yeah, I've got some
Still,
guys at 32 that are just not confident that that's gonna get fulfilled. You could do a measure move if this is a bull flag. If you go up weekly, it's 27%. So where would that get you if you measured that up from where the flag is? Yeah, you go 27% up. Beautiful. There you go.
yeah,
That's
to my trend
that's
line at
yeah,
44.
yeah.
Because so that, yeah, so if I go back to the daily, that was
Oh,
here. The Bitcoin was trying to break out, and it did pop its head
yeah.
above, which it does. And then we had the major sell off with Luna 3AC, all that. So yeah, so for me, the next target, it had to get through the 38, 39, 40, and then we'll see. I love using the EMAs. I use the 9, the 21, and the 55, which is the blue, yellow, and the green. And you will see that price will come up and come back, pull away, come back, pull away, come back, pull away, come back. So if it pulls up, it will always come back down, you know. If it does reach 40, could come back down again, and then there is another rally up, you know, at some point as well. It will come back to the 55. If we go back over here, even during like this momentous bull run from last time, it still did come back, test 55. It will come back and test, and these are good by the dip opportunities. See how it's supported on the 9, back down to rest 21, and again it just keeps keeps repeating. We go back to the weekly.
So strong,
really strong green.
And looking on your tiger, look at your histogram,
yeah,
compared to the big run we had, you can't see top of it on the big run. You've got so much space, so much room.
Yeah, we're only at the start, you know. This is only the start of the bull run. It's only the start of the bull cycle. But one thing to take note of here is, just repeating what I was saying earlier, see how far away price is pulled away from the 9 EMA, all the EMAs.
Yeah,
it will only go so far before it comes back. And again, these are all by the dip opportunities. See here, goes away, comes back, meets the 9, goes up, comes back. Now that ended up being, it went the whole way. That was quite a big pullback after the 2019, like many people call that the mini bull run. But even here, comes up, comes back to the 9, pulls away, comes back to the 21. And here, something like this could happen, where it pulls away, but then it just consolidates sideways. So the 9 comes up to meet price, rather than price come down to meet the EMA. So it doesn't necessarily have to come back.
That's what I feel.
People consolidate sideways till they meet, and then it takes off again. So here it sort of goes sideways and up, and then boom.
I think that's more likely. And the reason that I'm saying that is because of the huge amount of people holding Bitcoin. And this is why I keep saying it's different this time, because, you know, I think it's nearly 80% now of people are holding, they're not selling. And we're getting more and more, the little man is getting more and more powerful. The big companies, they can't shift us at the moment. So I think that is more likely to happen, what you just said, that we get chopped, a little bit of sideways, and then the actual MAs come up to meet the candle.
This is how this looked on the daily time frame, that area. So it pulled away and then actually came down, and it was the candle body closes were being held, supported by 21. So it did come back to 21 on the daily at that time, and again, same thing. So it's just for anyone, you know, who's thinking, what does buy the dip mean? How do I buy the dip? You know, what does that actually mean? Different coins will have different price action, behavior of price. With Bitcoin, it's what I'm saying here. When you see price coming away from the EMAs, it will come back. And when you see price starting to come below the 29, you're thinking, right, the next one's going to be 21. That is a good time to buy. And it might come down to 55 again. It's another opportunity to buy. So just buying little bits at key levels. I know that you really like fibs. I don't use the fibs as much as you, but actually I do find that the fibs and the EMAs actually generally line up anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you fib on this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go from here. Here.
Yeah, yeah, you can do, yeah.
So just say there's going to be a pullback. Just pretend there's going to be a pullback.
Yeah.
you would think the pullback would come down to the first fib,
Yeah, to 236.
which actually lines up with the 21.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't think there is going to be a pullback right now, but it's like if there was, and then if it did happen to go down, you'd be looking at the next one.
Yeah.
382, and then the next one, the 0.5, which brings us down to
And the
55.
0.5 is massive support. I mean, I would, I just, I would bet my house on the fact that it wouldn't go much lower than that. And if it, if it carries on like, getting to like the 50% mark, that is generally proven that it's massive buying area. And the support is huge there as well. So
yeah,
that's why I've got buys set at 32. I'm not bothered if I do or I don't get them. It's just sat there as like an insurance that I've got a bit of cash waiting to buy. You never know.
So that is something you could do. Say for instance, Bitcoin did reach when it reaches the 40. You could say if there's pullback, it might come down to the first level here at the fibs, the 236. I'm going to set a buy around that, and then you can set another buy at the 9, another buy at the 382, so that you're picking up little bits and pieces. That's one way of doing it if you wanted to set buy orders, or you could just do it manually by spot at those levels. Just that's how I buy dips. Once you see a key level has been sort of reached, and then you start to see price start to fall a bit, you start to see red candles, you're thinking, right, how far is this going to go back? So I'm going to wait until the price reaches the 9, and then I'm going to see how it is. I might buy a little bit, and I think it might go down more, and then you buy a little bit more. At least that way, if you buy little bits at the key levels, you have bought a little bit, so that if you wake up the next morning and price is like 10% up, and it didn't reach the 21, it didn't reach the 21, I was waiting for the 21, didn't reach it. This way, at least you're in. At least you've got a little bit.
Yeah, for people who are new, to set buy orders, you don't have to sit glued to your computer. You can set them and forget about them. You plot where you think the candles are going to land, and you've got, like, say you want $50 at one price, $50 at another, $100 at one. You can set numerous buys and then just forget about it, and it's like an automatic laddering in, and it's done for you, so you don't need to do it all manually. It's very easy to do, so you just set it and then crack on with your day.
And it's also a good idea to not lay too much on the exchange as well. So if you see the amount you have in the exchange starting to build up, it's a good idea to regularly take off your Bitcoin or whatever altcoins you have, put them on your cold storage, so that you're just reducing the risk at all times. You might always need to have some on there to trade or to buy more or whatever, but as much as possible, try and keep a limit on your head of how much you're willing to have on the exchange, and the rest should be on cold storage. Yeah, I've
got to shift some today. And it's nice if you do like invest in like a ledger or Trezor, because it almost means that you've got confidence in the asset, that it's not going to be a flash crash, and if you do get a flash crash, it's brilliant that it's off the exchange, because in times like this, once we hit this bull, there could be 30% moves in a couple of hours where you get stopped out, and by the time you've got it off your ledger to sell, you've found out that, oh, we're back to where we were. We're all right. So it's quite a nice thing to do as well. It stops that panic mode, of which I felt for probably 3 or 4 years in my first trading journey. Now I'm so unbelievably relaxed about it. I don't panic anymore. Hardly ever think I've got to get out of this. Just think, hang on, breathe and wait. And I think this is key in trading that you just don't start chasing candles and you don't start panicking. It will always, you know, it might take you 2 years, but it will always tend to get back to where you were. And it might take a long time, but you know, all those people who bought at 30 grand and saw it go down to 16, they've waited a year and now they must be thinking, oh, we're all right again. I've not lost my money.
Yeah. I think you're right. You know, there can be big price movements during a bull run, and it can be very, very scary. What we call that is you can be shaken out of your position. You know, it has a massive drop in a couple of days, a day even, and you get panic, and then you just quickly sell, and then you wake up the next morning, it's back up past what it was. You know, it's not unusual, especially in an altcoin, to see like 50% moves in a day, every day. And then the opposite happens, where you get, so after 6 months of that, it's 10 months of that, you're so used to it, you get complacent and think it's going to go on forever. That's another video.
Yeah.
We're not there yet, but it is exhilarating, and it is scary in a roller coaster, but it is really just always really good to have your plan in place.
I tell you what, there's a cracking film that's just come out that's amazing to watch for anybody who's in our world, and it's called Dumb Money.
Okay.
And it's the GameStop.
Oh, right. Okay.
They created a film, GameStop, and this happened in 2021, and the little man, he absolutely ruined the financial sector, and it is incredible to watch. It was the unity of gamers that bought a coin and refused to sell. They refused, and it went, I mean, the guy who started it, he put $50,000 into it, and he made 38 million.
Whoa.
And it's as the film starts, it's like you'll see Sandy or whoever she is, and it'll say just clips of like net worth minus 136 quid, and then there's another guy, and all these characters go through, and to see like some of these people made, you know, 150 grand, a couple of million, and then there's one nurse and she didn't sell, and she's minus 13 grand and she's still holding. And it's just, I love the fact that they give this overview that not everybody won, and it's so brilliant to watch how trading, the inside of the mechanics of trading and how it's manipulated. It's so good. I can't recommend it enough. It's called Dumb Money. It's so good. Yeah,
definitely gonna watch that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you thinking then for Bitcoin here?
Yes, so my thoughts are, with looking at that measure move, it marries absolutely perfectly to like looking at I think it's 40, 44 and 40. It's plotted absolutely amazing.
Here
it takes it right to exactly to there, to 44k. I don't know if I said in the last video that I will be taking a bit of profit here. Literally, I'm going to take the tiniest amount and just do a rebuy. I'm now just sitting.
Yeah.
I'm not trading. I probably, you know, I'm saying I'll take a little bit of profit. I might just add to it. I might be more to just add.
For me, it partly depends what happens, because if it just goes boom up, it might just go boom down to here, you know, to a key level. In that case, I may just take a little bit of profit, and then put it straight back in at the 9 EMA, something like that, or key level. But if it just keeps moseying, I might just like keep buying nibbles at those little pullbacks I was saying. So because a pullback could be 10%, you know, 10% drop, or, you know, I might just, so it just depends. It might, you know, if it just keeps going up and then moseying across, and then up and then moseying across. I could just see it just drifting up, drifting up, drifting up. I really could. I mean, I know nobody knows, no one can ever say for sure what's going to happen at all, but it is just kind of what has been happening. Just, it's not this like crazy up and down. It's
No.
just taking its time, climbing the stairs. Like so it might come up to 40 and then come back down, retest here, and then break through and then retest, you know. So yeah, so it's just past this key level 36. I'm looking at the 40 for next. But I think, you know, every 38, 39 are all kind of key levels, like what happened here as well. 23, 24, 25 are key levels. But again, it could just go bang straight through.
Yeah.
But basically, I think we're saying the same thing. It's come out of this quite a long accumulation period, accumulating under the 20, under the 25, then accumulating above the 25, broke out. We would expect quite a lot of strength here with some pullbacks, and then it just keeps going up. That is what we expect to happen. So we think is going to happen. If this is the start of the next bull cycle, which I think we both think it is.
Yeah. You know, you've got higher highs all the time.
Higher highs, higher lows. This is sort of, yeah, higher highs, higher lows.
And I mean, that was only just a higher low on the last one.
Yeah.
Could be classified as your shakeout, believe it or not, because with the amount of people that are holding this asset, a shakeout, that is as pathetic as it might have been. And we might look back at that and think, you know what, that was the shakeout.
Yeah.
Generally you see it's like a massive Adam spike like it was in COVID. But yeah, that's
something like that is very, very possible. Almost at some point to be expected, to shake people out and to scare people into selling, like we've been talking about. I will not be selling.
No.
Not unless I already have a trailing stop on a little bit of my position, something like that. But most of my position, the vast majority of it is in cold storage. I'll not be selling. I'll only be looking, even thinking about selling, once Bitcoin is well clear of its all-time high. Once it's above 70, I'll be just keeping an eye out.
Yeah.
Expected to go higher, but still, you know, what was it? 20. So did over three times.
Yeah.
Past its all-time high, but once it gets past there, I'll be looking, and it'll be like 80,000, 90,000, 100,000. Once it go 100,000, imagine.
My anxiety
quite far away, kind of. It comes around. It can come around quicker than you think.
Yeah.
This is the slow part. This is the slow part. This accumulation. Yeah. That's the boring go to sleep part. You know, that we all have just lived through, and then now we're having this sign of strength.
Cryptology bull runs are massively short. And historically they've always been short, 3-4 months. That is it. And you know, when you look at Sol, that run happened, and you know, the GameStop run that happened in literally 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it went up and you can see it's parabolic again, parabolic every single time. And then the sell-off it's horrific. It's the same. You've got to really know what you're doing if you're planning on making money on this asset. And I think I say it to myself all the time, I have a figure that I want to get to. And when I get to that figure, that is my goal, I will take 80% of my position out of everything, because I've hit my financial goal.
Okay.
And then leave 20% of my position in to just run and watch it, because then I know I'm safe and I'm not going to be greedy. I know exactly that is what I'm going to do, because I've been caught on, you know, numerous occasions where I didn't sell, and I don't care if I could have made myself loads, you know, 3, 4, 5 times the amount that I've actually made. I have my financial goal, and that is good enough for me.
Yeah,
so
that's really good. I'm going to rely on my indicators to get me out of all my trades.
So grateful for them.
I trust them, and it's this top for Bitcoin. It's this top ribbon, as I call it. When it turns red, especially after a huge momentous run like this markup, when it turns red or magenta, I'm selling everything.
Yeah.
And here, selling. And if what happens here again, which was we had this pullback, if you want to call it that, 55%. We had a double peak, and if my indicator is telling me to get back in again, I will get back in again.
Yeah.
Just in case this is, this is a very different cycle, and there is a 50% pullback, and then another massive price increase. Who knows? I'm just open to anything, so I'm not going to assume that Bitcoin is going to go to 100,000 and then retrace 75 again. I'm not making any assumptions, but after, so say Bitcoin was past the all-time high, it's 80,000, 90,000, 100,000, and my indicator goes from this green to the magenta, I'm selling everything. But then I keep my eye out to see, are we going to have something like this where it's a shorter markdown period, maybe 30, 40, 50%, like you'd see in stocks? And then another big increase. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying I'm open to the possibility that might happen, because it is different now, because the ETF and there's large institutions involved now, and it isn't the same. But I wouldn't necessarily expect all coins to do that with it just talking about Bitcoin. Because I have learned a huge lesson from this double top, massive lesson from this. So I'm keeping an eye out. And these double tops are actually very, very common in stocks. I'm not saying it's going to be double top next time. I'm just saying I will sell when this happens, and if this happens and it gets me back in again, I will get back in again, and I'll keep rinsing and repeating that with my whole position. I mean, I may retain some Bitcoin long term. I probably will. But for my position that I'm selling, this is when I'll be selling, whenever that may be.
Yeah. It nailed it, didn't it?
Yeah.
And we have, and I was talking just purely that I ain't got the indicator. So what am I on about? We have got it. So I'm far more protected that this is an insurance again to.
Yeah. But you could always, it's always good to have a plan and then adjust the plan. So you may think, right, because your Bitcoin, I don't know what your price is, but Bitcoin may reach your price, and then you would think, do you know what? I actually may not sell 80% now, I may sell 50% now and wait. Or what happens if Tiger indicator indicates magenta and you haven't reached the price?
Yeah, so
it's good to think through the possibilities. This is what I spent my time doing. What am I going to do if this happens? What am I going to do if that happens? So that you've got a plan in place, multiple plans, multiple options in place, in the same way as buying dips. If we're saying, buy when it pulls back to the 21, but didn't reach the 21, that if it's pulled far away from the 9, makes it goes up here and you're so far, just like it just has a massive rally now, it's up to 40, it's pulled far away from the 9, you're thinking, I've missed this, I didn't get in, but it'll probably pull back to the 21. Just think, well, I'm going to add a little bit at the 9 anyway, just in case it bounces off the 9 again, or you think it's going to come back down and retest 30, or come out retest. It's like, instead of thinking, I know what's going to happen, it's going to retest this, it's going to come back and it's just always have, well, what if it doesn't? If it doesn't, what am I going to do? If it doesn't, how am I going to fail? Would I have felt better if I laddered in a little bit or laddered out? Or, what am I going to do if my indicator tells me to sell, but I haven't reached my target price? What am I going to do? What is my plan? That's your homework.
Yeah.